guys, it's Brogues here, back with our Far Cry 5 episode. In this edition of the Editor Guide, we're going to look at textures and scenery and how to add them to your map to take it to the next level. Now, as you can see, the map has not changed from the last episode. It still has its boring checkerboard appearance. And there's no scenery around it. Now what we're going to do is first go into terrains to paint textures. Now the first texture will paint all the area. So what you can use is you can use a selection of different effects on this. For this we're going to use one of the grass textures, as we find that will look best with the setting. So you can see you've got numerous textures you can select. It looks pretty terrible from up here, but as you zoom in closer you can see the texture really does look like grass. So now we've got the main texture, we can select a secondary texture we want to apply to this map. We really want to have a nice dirt aesthetic for the player spawn points. It's important to select the second one. If you try and do it on the primary one, it will just change everything to this. You can also change the size, speed, hardness and shape of the area you want to apply texture to. So what you see is we get a little bit of overspill on that. On the second one we can line it up perfectly, and it's just going to do that area we've got selected. If we want, we can change the radius so we have a smaller area. So you can apply this to even individual rooms if you wanted to. You can just sit and gradually take your time and work it right into the corners. And that's the first two textures applied to this map. Now, we've got a lot of vehicles on this, in this small map, and it doesn't quite make sense that all these vehicles will be driving on grass. So the next thing we can do is we can actually add a road to this map. Now roads aren't actually under the paint texture one, they have their separate one. You see it 2 down, road. And you've got a load of different styles of roads you can add. Now, for this map we're going to add just a plain normal asphalt road. Now this is slightly different. What you're going to do is you want to select 2 points to build the road between. So you want to do it from the gateway down towards this building. That's the road built, and then as long as it's selected like that, you can then go in and change the width of the road. So this is like a single track road. We want to make that slightly wider. Just a case of going down to select the width, and that's a road made far wider. And then just for this styling of this map, we want to actually continue that outside. So it's just a case of adding another point to this road. Now that the road's carried out, just for what my plans are, I'm just going to make a small T-junction up here. You'll see why at the end. Now the one problem there is that if you make a T-junction it will always bend the road. I don't know why. Every time I've tried it, it will bend the road the first time, and then when you actually then go back to make the T-junction on the other side, it's squared up at 90-degree angles. I don't know why that's the case, but it is. Now we've got the road added, it's time to add some scenery, and I've already pre-built a block here. This is an 8x8 square section of trees, and it's basically just a selection of pine trees. What I've done is I've taken about 8 or 9 different pine trees from the nature section. As you go down, you can go select trees, and then pine trees, and then what you see is you've got a various selection. So what I've got is between 2 or 4 of these trees, all randomly placed in this 8x8 section, and we're going to use that and just build a forest all the way around this prison. So you can select them all by holding R2 and then scrolling up or down, and then we can just get that into position, and then press right on the D-pad to duplicate it. And then now we can just go through the process of building this forest all the way around. Now we've built the forest all the way around the prison, we can then add some more trees at the other side of this road, and then that means is that if people look out, they actually look at this road, it will appear that it just carries on through the forest. And that's the first stage of our scenery done. As you see, if we look around, there's a slight bit of repetition, you can tell, but we're going to fix that in the second stage. So basically you can go into terrain and add vegetation, and what this gives you is pre-selected groups of trees. Now they're nowhere near as different as the ones I already have here, but you do have multiple selections of different trees, different styles, different heights. So for this one we're going to have pine trees high. Now what you can see is these trees are nowhere near as detailed as the individual ones you place, so you can use these to thicken up the landscape without having the major texture demand you would from the single highly detailed trees. If you actually go in and zoom in, you actually see that they've even went to the stage of adding small grass and plants between the trees to give it a more realistic look. Now we have our scenery done, we can now add a backdrop to complete the final look. Now there's, I think, 4 standard backdrops. So the one we're going to pick for this is alpine because it fits in with the grass and the trees. You can also adjust the backdrop height and the angle at which it appears. Now we've added everything we want to, we can now go in and explore and just see it, make sure it looks perfect.
Team deathmatch.
What you can see is our little prison here now looks like it's out in the middle of the forest, and it really does look quite nice. What you can see is that adding that second layer of pine trees has changed the look around the outside, and it no longer looks so repetitive. You can even jump outside the map here and look and see this road, and this road actually looks like it ends in a junction and then carries off into the forest, even though it doesn't.